Hey wrestling fans, welcome to another episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic for Monday, October 3rd, 2016. And on this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, I will be recapping last night's TNA Bound For Glory pay-per-view event live from the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida. And there was a lot of talk on the internet about the pay-per-view might not happen because didn't have the funds, but somebody did pay for Bound for Glory to happen last night, and it happened, luckily, and still not quite sure of what is going to be the future of TNA Impact Wrestling. They start tapings tonight, and they have more the rest of the week. And those are also paid for as well. But still don't know who this unidentified third party is who was supposedly have had paid for Bound for Glory and the Impact Wrestling tapings. Now let's get started. Last night's Bound for Glory, and it kicks off with a very good opening video. Broken Matt Hardy reading a story to King Maxwell about the Great War. Very good. And our opening match of Bound for Glory is for the TNA X Division Championship, and it is Trevor Lee challenging DJZ. I thought this was a good opening match here. High-flying. DJZ has been impressing me a lot lately, and he is victorious in this one to retain the X Division Championship at 11 minutes, 16 seconds with the ZDT. Next up at Bound for Glory is the Bound for Gold Gauntlet match, where the winner will receive a title shot of their choice, as long as it's in 1 week in advance, I believe. And our first two entries are Jesse Goddard from the Bromans and Rockstar Spud. And number 3 is Braxton Sutter. Number 4 is Eli Drake. And at this time, Braxton Sutter is eliminated. And then is the other half of the Bromans, Robbie E. and Baron Dax, representing the Tri-Brutal. Grado comes in and does the Bushwhacker spot, comes in, and then right away he's eliminated. Then Baraka, representing the Tri-Brutal, and Dax is eliminated by Robbie E, and then Baraka eliminates Robbie E, and Jesse Goddard eliminates Baraka. Tyrus is out next, and Rockstar Spud, because they have a history together. You thought they were going to be able to team up and join forces, but Tyrus puts the thumbs down and eliminates Rockstar Spud from the match. And the final participant of the Bound for Gold match is Mahabali Shera. He does not last too long. He is eliminated. And then the next elimination is Tyrus and Jesse Goddard by Eli Drake to win. And the winner of the 2016 Bound for Gold Gauntlet match at Bound for Glory is Eli Drake. And he can now have a title shot at any of the championships he wants now. And I believe the rules are that there has to be 1 week in advance. And now we go to the back with Jeremy Borash, and he's with Gail Kim's husband, Robert Irvine. And he talks about Gail Kim going into the Hall of Fame this year. But he is interrupted by Maria and Mike Bennett. And Maria says, "This is not Gail Kim's night. And it is her night." And Irvine says that it is going to be a bad night for them. And then he leaves. And then Mike Bennett cuts a promo, talks about how he's going to beat Moose tonight. And of course, he says instead of everybody chanting Moose, they'll be saying, "Yes, we do." And that match is next. The Miracle Mike Bennett taking on Moose. Bennett is out first, and Moose has an entrance with a football team. I thought this was pretty good, actually. I didn't mind it. And Moose gets the win over his former tag team partner, Mike Bennett, at 9 minutes, 48 seconds. And next up, Bound for Glory continues with the finals of the tournament to crown the first ever Impact Wrestling Grand Champion. And it is Eddie Edwards taking on, replacing Drew Galloway, taking on Aaron Rex. And Galloway was interviewed earlier on in the night. And of course he was not too happy about TNA management not letting him compete tonight at Bound for Glory. Good match. The rounds were extended 5 minutes each round for tonight. Very good match. It went to 15 minutes to the judge's decision. And the winner of the match, and the first ever TNA Impact Wrestling Grand Champion, Aaron Rex. I thought this was a good match. I enjoyed it. Was glad to see Aaron Rex go over here. And now it is time for the TNA 2016 Hall of Fame induction of Gail Kim this year. And there are some returns for this. First it is Christy Hemme, and then Taryn Terrell, and then one of Gail Kim's toughest opponents, Awesome Kong. And then Dixie Carter comes to the ring and introduces Gail Kim, and she gives a very good speech. Like I've said before, this is definitely a good choice. Gail Kim deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. She is a great competitor. Big fan of Gail Kim, and was happy to see her go in the Hall of Fame last night. And now the Great War is next for the TNA World Tag Team Championships. And this entrance for the Hardys, I thought it was great. Started off with Rebby playing the piano, and then Broken Matt comes out, and then Brother Nero comes to the stage, and he sings the Obsolete theme song. I loved it. And then DK makes their way to the ring, and I thought it was going to be like the Final Deletion and Delete or Decay, where it was going to be taped in advance out at the Hardy compound. But I loved what they did tonight, though. They started in the Impact Zone live, and then when they fought to the back, they added some footage that was taped with Matt Hardy and Abyss brawling out by the Universal theme park and in the back of the truck, and then Jeff Hardy and Crazy Steve brawling, and then Jeff Hardy transforming into Itchweed, throwing the pumpkins at Crazy Steve. I'm guessing that was a tribute to Billy Corgan with some smashing pumpkins. And Itchweed, and then Rosemary came and attacked him, and then he transformed into Willow, and then they fought back out into the Impact Zone, and then Matt and Abyss, it showed that guy that Decay destroyed and stole his truck. He came back wanting revenge, and I didn't mention this, but at the beginning of the match, Decay spit the mist in the face of Rebby, which caused her to go to the back, and then she ended up coming back out, put Rosemary through a table, and it was Broken Matt Hardy lifting the band of Brother Nero, doing the high-flying moves. He got on top of the ladder, did the swanton off onto Crazy Steve through the tables for the win. The Broken Hardys are the new TNA World Tag Team Champions at 22 minutes, 25 seconds. I loved this great war. I thought it was great. I really don't know how anybody could not have enjoyed that. And I am definitely looking forward to the reign of the Hardys as the new Tag Team Champions. Big fan of what they've been doing. The angle with them, and then the angle with Decay was great. And next up, Jeremy Borash is backstage with the TNA World Heavyweight Champion Lashley. And now it's time for the TNA Knockouts Championship match. The new TNA Hall of Famer, Gail Kim, taking on Maria. And first, Maria tries to get out of the match and says that doctor has not medically cleared her yet. And then Allie says she must have misunderstood what the doctor said, because the doctor said she is cleared. And she tried to get out of it. Gail Kim chased her around the ring, and then they finally got in the ring, and Gail Kim defeats Maria to win the Knockouts Championship at 5 minutes 22 seconds. Wasn't much of a match, but it was good to see Gail Kim win the title on the same pay-per-view where she became the first ever TNA Knockouts champion in 2007, and the same night she entered the TNA Hall of Fame. And Mike Bennett gets in the ring after that. He's very upset. He says that's not the way the night was supposed to go, and he says he's going to shut down Bound for Glory, shut down the whole pay-per-view. And then it is the TNA debut of Cody and his wife, Brandy Rhodes. Maria gets in his face, tells him he has to leave, and then all four of them start going at it, and Cody and Brandy clear the ring. It's good to see Cody in the ring back in TNA. I mean, not back in TNA, but sorry about that. It's good to see him in TNA, and it's good to see now we'll actually get to see Brandy Rhodes wrestle instead of just doing ring announcing. And now it's time for the main event of the evening for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Ethan Carter III, EC3, challenging the Destroyer Lashley in a no-holds-barred match. Lashley starts off right and during the introductions with a spear. And then later on, EC3 hits a TK3 on the steps, then hits a frog splash, but only for a 2 count. Lashley dominates more after that, and EC3 comes back with 3 German suplexes, and then he hits the 1% for only a 2 count, and then Ashley hits a spear from the middle ropes, and pins EC3 for the win at 16 minutes, 12 seconds. Still TNA World Champion, the Destroyer Lashley. That was Bound for Glory. Great pay-per-view. I enjoyed it. Some people may not have, but I did. And we're out of time for today's episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. But hope to be back soon. Once again, I definitely enjoyed